Well, I'm Alan Dale from Gale Force Winds. It's fantastic to be here with the Atlantic Canadian Aerospace Defence Association. We're here at the Maritime Arctic Safety and Security Show 2025. Thank you to our good friends at the Ship Stop Here initiative. They understand that the importance of a conversation and everybody's voice matters. And on that note, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do.
Hi, my name is Sheldon Gillis. I'm a former naval officer. Retired about a year and a half ago after 25 years in the Navy. Career in operations, commanded the frigate St. John's, named after the good city we're in today.
Here we are.
Also worked in procurement in Ottawa for a number of years. I was the director of naval requirements, running Navy projects. Retired, as I said, about a year and a half ago. Joined Babcock, Canada. I'm currently employed as the campaign lead for the capture of the Canadian Patrol Submarine project.
Wow.
The next generation of submarines for Canada's Navy. So.
Wow. Talk to me about the transition from military service, and you were serving at a pretty high level when you left. Talk to me about that transition into industry in Canada.
I think my transition might have been easier than others. I had spent years, multiple tours in Director of Maritime Requirements C, which then became Director of Naval Requirements. So I had an interface, a regular interface with industry before I left uniform, and so understanding the challenges, you regularly hear that from industry. What is the challenges from their perspective? I would be seeing the challenges from the procurement perspective in Canada, the challenges of bringing projects to the warfighters at the front line, and how long working through the bureaucracy at the program in Ottawa. And then when I transitioned to industry, I had both pieces of the puzzle.
Right.
So I understood kind of the game that I was getting into from the military side, procurement side, and then also having worked with industry for so many years. So I think it was a little bit more gentle than maybe it was for others. And joining a company like Babcock Canada, which it has multiple lines of business in Canada. Primarily we do the Victorian Service Support Contract for submarine maintenance. But we're also into aerial firefighting in Manitoba. We do aerial ambulance services in British Columbia. So military focused in the marine part, which I'm involved with, submarines. I'm not a submariner by background, surface ship command, but understanding the challenges. Victoria class modernization was one of my projects while I was in uniform.
Right.
So understanding the complexities of what it actually means to try to deliver output in a submarine work period, increase capability, keep the boats relevant. So I had those two pieces, and plus I had understood kind of the company that I was going in to work for,
right,
and what the challenges they lived every day.
Wow. You were lucky to find them. They were lucky to find you in this conversation. Talk to me about some of the good things that Babcock is doing right now in the sector.
So internationally, we're about 27,000 worldwide. The company in the United Kingdom, our headquarters, or international headquarters of our business, does nuclear submarine repair and overhaul in the United Kingdom. So we just took the first astute boat in for repair and overhaul this week. We do surface ship repair and overhaul. We're building Type 31 frigates for the Royal Navy, United Kingdom. Here in Canada, really it's about submarine output and generating submarines for the Navy. And it's a complex endeavor. Submarine repair is not ship repair.
Yeah.
It's a whole other level of engineering and complex scheduling. Supply chains, materially certified supply chains. That makes it really complex. We're delivering that right now with our partner Seaspan Shipyards in British Columbia. And we have Victoria in the yard right now. Corner Brook is out operating. HMCS Windsor on the East Coast is in the fleet maintenance facility for repair. The office I'm based out of in Halifax is helping support the Navy with that overhaul. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting times. There's a lot of things happening in addition to those other lines of business. Unfortunately, the climate change in the world is, demand for resources to counter that. The things like wildfires.
Right.
Our crews in Manitoba this year were just incredibly busy delivering, urgently needed resources to fight those fires. And in British Columbia, delivering the air ambulance service, getting that contract up and running. We now have the airframes delivering again a service to Canadian in different capacities. So, whether it's in ambulance, firefighting, or delivering capability with the Navy and working with the Navy as their strategic partner, there's lots happening. And in addition to our international business, lines of business as well.
Mass. How's Mass been for you so far?
Mass has been great. We've been across the country as part of my job, the Canadian Patrol Submarine Capture for our company. There is a lot of moving parts to this procurement. Procuring up to 12 new conventionally powered submarines from international builders and trying to figure out how do you patriate all of that equipment, supply chain, training, develop the infrastructure in locations across Canada to support the submarine on its arrival. That is something for submarines in particular, it really can't be an afterthought.
Yeah.
If the submarines are going to be delivered and be operational, the sustainment solution really has to be developed up front. And we know the Government of Canada is working hard on that business case analysis to deliver that to the industry to say exactly what they want. But here in St. John's in particular, the Mass Conference, all the builders are here.
Yeah.
Having great conversations with them about the solutions that they offer to their navies, and trying to figure out really how do you work that acquisition, transition, warranty period to in-service support so that when boat one arrives, the boats are fully supported with the industrial capacity that's needed. The marine industry in Canada in general is booming. The shipyards, Seaspan, Davie, Irving are all incredibly busy delivering output. Submarines, as I said, is a different beast.
Right.
And it's going to require unique infrastructure, workforce skills that really need to be worked through. And these things are not something you turn on in days. This is years of work.
Yeah.
So that's keeping us hopping as well as a company. We have a dedicated team that's now working through that problem, using the 16 years of experience we had in Canada, a lot of hard lessons in submarine repair and overhaul in Canada, taking the used submarines that we purchased as a nation, that we're in the middle of a Canadianization, standing up a supply chain. We now have a robust supply chain of almost 500 small, medium businesses. But those things take years and a lot of hard knocks on the way, as you work through what does the enterprise look like? How do you set that enterprise up? How do you make decisions, collaboratively? Hard decisions where risk, the consequences of failure in submarines, it is the ultimate. And, as a company, that cares about the customer that we're delivering the assets to, we really try to ensure that dialogue, that well-informed dialogue between all parts, the blue-collar workforce that's repairing the submarine, the engineering services, the supply chain, and the government, that we're all working together to deliver output.
Listen, I can't begin to thank you enough for giving us your perspective and sort of what Babcock's involved in right now. Such an important player right now in Canada and has been for a very long time. I'm not sure if you're best suited for the lead of Canadian Submarine Capture or their Director of Communications, because you really covered it all very well. Pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks very much. It's great to see you again.
Yeah.
Thank you.